The alarm pierces through the silence of dawn. Another morning. Another chance to start fresh. But as you shift in bed, reaching to turn off that persistent beeping, it happens again. That familiar stiffness grips your knees like an old, unwelcome friend who never learned when to leave. Your shoulders protest as you try to sit up. Your back creaks like the floorboards of the old farmhouse you grew up in. You pause there, on the edge of your bed, taking inventory of what hurts today. Will it be your hips that make getting dressed a challenge? Will your hands refuse to cooperate with the coffee pot? Will those stairs to the kitchen feel like climbing Mount Everest again? If you're over 60 and this morning ritual sounds painfully familiar, I want you to know something important. You are not alone in this struggle. More importantly, you don't have to surrender your mornings to joint pain. But here's what most doctors won't tell you. If you don't change what you do in those precious hours before your head hits the pillow tonight, that morning pain isn't just visiting anymore. It's moving in permanently, stealing your independence one sunrise at a time. Hello there, dear friend. I'm Dr. Margaret Chen, and for the past 35 years, I've had the privilege of walking alongside thousands of seniors just like you through their journey with joint health. I've seen the frustration in tired eyes when simple pleasures, like gardening, playing with grandchildren, or taking a peaceful morning walk, become sources of dread instead of joy. I remember my own mother, at 72, calling me one evening. Her voice was small, defeated. "Maggie," she said, "I'm scared that this is just how it's going to be now. Every morning feels like a battle I'm losing." That conversation changed everything for me. It sparked a mission that has consumed the better part of my career, helping seniors reclaim their mornings, and, with them, their sense of vitality and independence. You see, what's happening in your body during those 8 hours of sleep isn't what most people imagine. While you're dreaming of better days, your joints are essentially going through their own nightmare. Picture this. Your joints are like sponges, but not the kind that sits happily in water. They're more like those compressed sponges you buy at the store, the ones that need movement and pressure to expand and function properly. Throughout the night, as you lie still, the precious synovial fluid that lubricates your joints gets squeezed out, like wringing water from a washcloth. Meanwhile, inflammatory compounds, the troublemakers in your bloodstream, have free rein to set up camp around your joints without the usual disruption that movement provides. It's like leaving the door unlocked for burglars while you sleep. By morning, your joints are essentially trying to move without their natural oil, while surrounded by an angry crowd of inflammatory cells. No wonder those first steps feel like walking on broken glass. But here's the revelation that changed my practice forever. This isn't inevitable. This isn't just getting older. This is your body crying out for specific nutrients and care that it can only properly utilize during those nighttime hours of rest and repair. The foods and rituals you choose in your evening hours can either feed this inflammatory fire or become your joints' greatest allies, working through the night to ensure you wake up feeling more like yourself again. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Dr. Chen, I've tried everything. Supplements, medications, those expensive creams that smell like a pine forest. Nothing seems to make a real difference. I hear you, and I understand that skepticism. It comes from a place of hope disappointed too many times. But what if I told you that some of the most powerful joint healing compounds aren't found in a pharmacy, but in your own kitchen? What if the secret isn't in what you add to your routine, but in when you add it? Tonight, when you prepare for sleep, you have an opportunity to transform those 8 hours from a time of joint deterioration into a period of active healing and restoration. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you 7 evening allies. I call them your nighttime joint guardians that have helped thousands of my patients reclaim their mornings. These aren't exotic superfoods or expensive supplements. They're simple, accessible foods and practices that work with your body's natural repair cycles. The first guardian alone, and I promise this will surprise you, has helped patients who hadn't had a pain-free morning in decades wake up feeling 20 years younger. So, let's begin this journey together, shall we? Let's give your joints the nighttime support they've been begging for. Let me start our journey with guardian number 7. And I want you to imagine something with me. Picture the vast, cold waters of the North Atlantic, where salmon have been swimming their ancient migrations for millions of years. These remarkable fish-face currents that would exhaust us in minutes, yet their joints remain supple and strong throughout their incredible journeys. Their secret? They're swimming pharmacies of omega-3 fatty acids. When I recommend wild-caught salmon, mackerel, or sardines to my patients, I'm not just suggesting a healthy dinner. I'm prescribing nature's most potent anti-inflammatory medicine. These omega-3s, EPA and DHA, work like microscopic peacekeepers in your bloodstream. They don't just reduce inflammation. They actively teach your body how to resolve it, how to turn off the inflammatory response when it's no longer needed. There's something almost magical about watching this transformation. Mrs. Rodriguez, one of my longtime patients, used to describe her morning routine as negotiating with my body for every movement. After 6 weeks of including a small serving of salmon in her evening meal, she called me, crying happy tears. "Dr. Chen," she said, "I woke up and just stood up. No planning, no bracing myself. I just stood up like I was 40 again. Now I know not everyone loves fish, and that's perfectly fine. If the thought of salmon makes you wrinkle your nose, let me share what I learned from my Norwegian grandmother. She used to say, 'Maggie, if you can't love it, at least respect it enough to make it delicious.' A small piece of salmon, about the size of your palm, gently baked with lemon and herbs, or even flaked into a warm soup, can be quite pleasant. The timing matters too. Having your omega-3 rich fish about 2 hours before bed gives your body time to begin processing these healing fats without feeling too full for sleep. Think of it as sending advanced scouts to prepare the battlefield while you rest. If fish truly isn't an option, a high-quality fish oil supplement can work. But please, talk with your doctor first. Your body, your medications, your specific needs, they all matter in this equation. And remember, we're not looking for perfection here. We're looking for progress, one gentle evening meal at a time. Now, Guardian Narger 6 brings us to one of nature's most delightful prescriptions: berries. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. These little jewels are like having a team of tiny bodyguards for your joints. The deep, rich colors that make them so appealing to our eyes, those come from anthocyanins, powerful compounds that act like molecular bouncers, keeping the troublemakers away from your joints. I often tell my patients the story of centenarians in the blue zones, those remarkable regions of the world where people regularly live past 100 with remarkable vitality. In many of these areas, wild berries are a daily part of life. Not as a medicine, but as a joy, a simple pleasure that happens to heal. When you enjoy a small bowl of berries in the evening, you're not just satisfying a sweet craving. You're providing your body with antioxidants that work through the night, neutralizing the free radicals that love to attack joint tissue while you sleep. It's like having a night security team patrolling your body, making sure nothing gets damaged while you're away. One of my favorite evening rituals, which I learned from a patient in her 80s, is what she called sunset berries. About an hour before bed, she would arrange a small handful of mixed berries in her prettiest bowl, the one that made her smile. Sometimes she'd add a dollop of plain Greek yogurt. Sometimes just enjoy them on their own. Dr. Chen, she told me, it's not just about the berries. It's about taking a moment to do something beautiful for myself before the day ends. There's wisdom in this approach. The act of mindfully enjoying these colorful gifts from nature can be almost as healing as the nutrients they contain. A half cup to 1 cup of berries is plenty. Fresh is wonderful, but frozen berries, thawed naturally, work just as well and are often more affordable. Avoid the berries swimming in syrup or those with added sugars. Your joints crave the pure, concentrated goodness that nature provides, not the inflammatory sugar that often comes with processed versions. Keep it simple, keep it natural, and keep it joyful. Guardian number 5 takes us on a journey to ancient spice routes, where traders would risk everything to transport precious golden powder across continents. Today, that same treasure sits quietly in most of our spice cabinets: turmeric. But here's the secret that traditional healers knew centuries ago, and modern science is just catching up to. Turmeric's healing power multiplies dramatically when paired with its perfect partner, black pepper. Let me paint you a picture. In the laboratories where I first learned about curcumin, turmeric's active compound, researchers were frustrated. This remarkable substance could reduce inflammation as effectively as some prescription medications. But there was a problem. The body couldn't absorb much of it. It was like having a powerful engine with no fuel delivery system. Then came the breakthrough. A compound in black pepper called piperine acts like a key, unlocking the doors that allow curcumin to flood into your bloodstream. We're not talking about a small improvement. Black pepper can increase curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. It's as if nature designed these two spices to work together, like old dance partners who know each other's every move. When I see my patients sipping their evening golden milk, warm milk with turmeric and a pinch of black pepper, I'm watching them participate in a healing ritual that spans generations and continents. There's something deeply comforting about wrapping your hands around a warm mug as the day winds down. It's a moment of pause, of self-care, of saying to your body, I'm here for you. This is the perfect time to introduce your golden milk ritual. I learned this recipe from Maria, a patient whose grandmother immigrated from India with nothing but her recipes and her wisdom. Dr. Chen, Maria told me, Nani used to say that the golden milk doesn't just heal the body, it heals the spirit too. And watching Maria transform from someone who could barely climb stairs to someone who chases her great-grandchildren around the garden, I believe her Nani was right. The recipe is beautifully simple. 1 cup of warm milk, dairy or plant-based, whatever brings you comfort, with half a teaspoon of turmeric and just a tiny pinch of black pepper. Some people like to add a touch of honey or a thin slice of fresh ginger. The key is making it your own, creating a ritual that feels like a gift you give yourself each evening. Drink this about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. The warmth helps you relax, The turmeric gets to work on inflammation, and the ritual itself becomes a signal to your body that it's time to shift into repair mode. Now, guardian number 4 brings us to the vibrant world of dark leafy greens. Kale, spinach, broccoli, collard greens. If the golden spices are like gentle healers, these greens are like nutritional powerhouses, packed with everything your joints need to stay strong and flexible. I remember visiting my friend Eleanor, who at 85 still tends a garden that would make farmers half her age envious. As we walked through her rows of kale and collard greens, she said something that stuck with me. "You know, Dr. Chen, I think plants and people have more in common than we realize. We both need good soil to thrive. Those dark green leaves are nature's way of concentrating everything joints crave. Vitamin K for bone health, calcium and magnesium for muscle function, and a compound called sulforaphane, especially abundant in broccoli, that actually helps slow down the breakdown of cartilage. It's like having a construction crew working the night shift, rebuilding and reinforcing while you sleep." But here's what I find most remarkable. These greens don't just provide nutrients. They provide them in a form your body recognizes and knows how to use. Unlike synthetic supplements, these whole foods come with their own instruction manual, telling your body exactly how to put each nutrient to work. I know what some of you might be thinking. "Dr. Chen, I'm not going to sit down to a big salad right before bed." And you're absolutely right. That would be neither comfortable nor wise. But there are gentle, soothing ways to welcome these green guardians into your evening routine. One of my patients, Harold, a retired teacher, discovered what he calls his evening green smoothie. He blends a handful of spinach with half a banana, a little unsweetened almond milk, and sometimes a few berries. "You can't even taste the spinach," he tells everyone, "but you sure can feel the difference in the morning." Another approach is lightly steamed broccoli, or sautéed spinach with garlic and olive oil, as a small side with your evening meal. The key is keeping portions modest and preparation gentle. Your digestive system is preparing to rest too, so we want to nourish without overwhelming. Think of it this way. You're not force-feeding yourself vegetables. You're offering your body the raw materials it needs to perform overnight maintenance. Just as you wouldn't expect a craftsman to build something beautiful without proper tools, your body can't repair and restore your joints without the right nutrients. The goal is consistency, not perfection. Even a few leaves of spinach added to an evening soup or a small serving of steamed broccoli 3 times a week can make a meaningful difference over time. As we journey deeper into our evening joint guardians, Guardian number 3 opens up a treasure chest that nature has been perfecting for millennia. Nuts and seeds. Walnuts, almonds, cashews, flax seeds, chia seeds. These small packages contain some of the most concentrated nutrition on earth. I often think about the wisdom embedded in these tiny powerhouses. A single walnut contains everything needed to grow an entire tree. That concentrated life force translates into concentrated healing potential for your joints. The healthy fats in these gems, particularly the plant-based omega-3s in walnuts and flax seeds, work like lubricating oil for your joints, while minerals like magnesium help relax the muscles that support and move your joints. Let me share something that still amazes me. Mrs. Patterson, a patient in her 70s, used to wake up with hands so stiff she couldn't open a jar or even turn her wedding ring. I suggested she try a small handful of mixed nuts as an evening snack. She was skeptical. Understandably so. "Dr. Chen," she said, "if nuts could fix my hands, Wouldn't someone have told me this 40 years ago? 6 weeks later, she brought me a jar of homemade jam. "I opened this myself this morning," she said with tears in her eyes. "I made the jam, and I opened the jar myself." Sometimes the simplest interventions create the most profound changes. Now, I need to share some practical wisdom about nuts and seeds. Because like many good things in life, more isn't always better. A small handful, about 1 ounce, or what fits comfortably in your cupped palm, provides tremendous benefit without overwhelming your system before sleep. I learned this lesson from watching my own father. When I first told him about the benefits of nuts for joint health, his engineer's mind decided that if a little was good, a lot must be better. He started eating cups of nuts every evening and gained 15 pounds in 2 months. "Maggie," he said sheepishly, "I think I missed the point. The beauty of nuts and seeds lies not in quantity, but in consistency and timing. Having them about an hour before bed gives your body time to begin processing their nutrients without feeling heavy. You can eat them plain, sprinkle them on a small bowl of yogurt, or blend them into that evening smoothie we talked about. For those with digestive sensitivities, nut butters can be easier to handle. A tablespoon of natural almond butter or tahini provides similar benefits with less work for your digestive system. Just make sure to choose varieties without added sugars or oils. Your joints deserve the pure, unadulterated nutrition. Guardian number 2 might surprise you, just as it surprised me when I first discovered the profound connection between gut health and joint comfort. Plain Greek yogurt and probiotic-rich foods. For decades, we thought of joint pain as a purely mechanical problem. Wear and tear, aging, overuse. We missed the bigger picture. Your gut is home to trillions of bacteria, and the health of this internal ecosystem directly influences inflammation throughout your body, including in your joints. When harmful bacteria outnumber beneficial ones, they can trigger inflammatory responses that travel far beyond your digestive system. It's like having troublemakers in your neighborhood who eventually cause problems for the whole town. Plain Greek yogurt is like sending in the good neighbors, beneficial bacteria that help restore order and peace. But it's not just about the probiotics. Greek yogurt is also rich in protein, particularly casein, which your body digests slowly. This means it provides a steady stream of amino acids to your muscles throughout the night, helping them stay strong enough to properly support your joints. I remember Sarah, a patient who had been dealing with knee pain for years. When I suggested adding evening yogurt to her routine, she looked at me skeptically. "Dr. Chen, my knees hurt, not my stomach." 3 months later, she admitted, "I don't understand how it works, but it works. My knees feel better, and honestly, I sleep better too." The key to making Greek yogurt work as a joint guardian is choosing wisely and timing it right. Plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt is what you want, not the versions loaded with sugar that can actually promote inflammation. Think of sugar as fuel for the troublemaker bacteria we're trying to calm down. About an hour before bed, enjoy a small container, about half a cup, of plain Greek yogurt. You can enhance it with a few berries for natural sweetness and additional antioxidants, or sprinkle in some of those nuts and seeds we discussed. Some of my patients like to add a drizzle of raw honey or a pinch of cinnamon. If dairy doesn't agree with you, don't worry. Kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, or other fermented foods can provide similar probiotic benefits. However, some of these can be quite potent in flavor and might not be ideal right before bed. You know your body best. What I love most about this evening ritual is how it naturally slows you down. Taking time to mindfully enjoy a small, nourishing snack signals to your body that the day's work is done and it's time to shift into rest and repair mode. You're not just feeding your gut bacteria, you're feeding your soul's need for self-care. The protein in Greek yogurt also helps stabilize blood sugar through the night, which can contribute to better, more restorative sleep. And better sleep, as we know, is when your body does its most important healing work. And now, dear friend, we arrive at guardian number 1, the crown jewel of evening joint care. This remedy is so ancient that your great-grandmother probably knew its healing power, yet so scientifically validated that researchers are still discovering new benefits. Bone broth. I want you to imagine something with me. Picture a time when nothing was wasted, when every part of an animal was honored and used. The bones, rich with marrow and minerals, would simmer slowly for hours, sometimes days, releasing their treasures into a golden, nourishing liquid. This wasn't just food. It was medicine, comfort, and healing all in one steaming bowl. What makes bone broth so extraordinary for your joints? It's nature's own liquid supplement, containing collagen, glucosamine, chondroitin, and hyaluronic acid, the very building blocks your joints are made of. When you sip warm bone broth before bed, you're literally providing your body with the raw materials it needs to rebuild and repair cartilage, tendons, and ligaments while you sleep. But here's what moves me most about bone broth. It's healing on multiple levels. Yes, the nutrients are extraordinary, but there's something about holding a warm mug, feeling the steam rise to your face, taking that first soothing sip. It's like receiving a hug from the inside out. Mrs. Williams, one of my patients, described it perfectly. Dr. Chen, when I drink my evening bone broth, I feel like I'm taking care of myself the way my mother used to take care of me when I was sick. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Dr. Chen, I don't have time to make bone broth from scratch. And you know what? That's perfectly okay. While homemade bone broth is wonderful, we live in a time when good quality, organic bone broth is available in most grocery stores. Look for versions that are low in sodium and free from unnecessary additives. If you do want to try making your own, it's simpler than you might think. Save bones from your meals, chicken, beef, fish, and store them in your freezer. When you have enough, put them in a slow cooker with a splash of apple cider vinegar, which helps extract the minerals. Cover with water and let it simmer on low for 12 to 24 hours. The vinegar helps draw out all those healing compounds from the bones. But whether you make it or buy it, the ritual is what transforms bone broth from simple food into healing medicine. About 30 to 60 minutes before bed, warm a cup of bone broth. Not so hot that it burns, but warm enough that you can feel its comfort spreading through your chest as you drink. Some evenings, you might want to add a pinch of turmeric and black pepper. Remember our golden duo. Other evenings, keep it simple and pure. Listen to your body, honor your preferences, and make this ritual your own. The consistency matters more than the perfection. As we reach the end of our journey together, I want you to take a moment and envision something with me. Picture tomorrow morning. Instead of that familiar dread as consciousness returns, instead of mentally preparing for the daily negotiation with your stiff joints, imagine simply waking up. Imagine sitting up without wincing. Imagine your feet touching the floor without that sharp reminder of yesterday's activities. Imagine walking to the kitchen with the easy grace you remember from younger days. Not because you've turned back time, but because you've given your body what it needs to heal and restore itself. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. Healing rarely does. But it does happen, week by week, morning by morning, as you consistently provide your joints with these evening guardians. You're not just managing symptoms. You're actively participating in your body's healing process. Remember our 7 guardians. The omega-rich fish that fights inflammation like nature's own medicine. The colorful berries bursting with protective antioxidants. The golden turmeric and black pepper duo working in perfect harmony. The dark leafy greens providing essential building blocks. The nuts and seeds offering healthy fats and minerals. The probiotic-rich yogurt healing from within. And finally, the liquid gold of bone broth, delivering exactly what your joints crave most. Each guardian offers its own gifts, but together, they create a symphony of healing that works while you sleep, so you can reclaim your mornings and, with them, your joy and movement. I want to leave you with the same advice I give every patient who sits across from me in my office. Start where you are, with what you have, and be patient with yourself. You don't need to transform your entire evening routine overnight. Choose one guardian that speaks to you. Maybe it's the comforting warmth of bone broth, or the simple pleasure of evening berries. Try it for a week. Notice how your body responds. Notice how it feels to take this time for yourself each evening. Then, when you're ready, add another guardian. Build your evening ritual gradually, mindfully, with love for the body that has carried you through so many years and so many experiences. Remember, healing isn't just about the nutrients you consume. It's about the care you show yourself, the consistency of your efforts, and the hope you maintain for better mornings ahead. Your joints have been speaking to you in the language of pain because they need something. Now you know how to listen, and more importantly, how to respond. Some evenings will be easier than others. Some mornings will feel better than others. That's the nature of healing. It's not a straight line, but a gentle spiral upward. Trust the process. Trust your body's incredible ability to heal. And most of all, trust that you deserve to wake up feeling good. Your journey to better mornings starts tonight. Your joints are waiting for their guardians. And I have complete faith that you're going to give them exactly what they need. Sleep well, dear friend. Tomorrow's morning is going to be different.